Call this meeting of the New Brunswick Parking Authority to order. Please be advised that the notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been complied with and satisfied, and that the annual notice, which gave sufficient notice of the time, place, and conduct of all public meetings of the New Brunswick Parking Authority, has been posted on the authority's website, has been filed with the city clerk, has been placed on an appropriate bulletin board in the lobby of City Hall, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and has been transmitted to the official newspaper for the city of New Brunswick, namely the Central New Jersey Home News Tribune, as per the annual notice provided for in the resolution adopted by this governing body on December 29th, 1975. You've received the minutes from the October regular meeting. In the absence of questions or comments or edits, can I get a motion to approve those?
Motion to approve.
Okay,
I'll
second?
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Mr. Karen?
Okay. A few items I have. First, the New Street garage repairs. All work within the garage is completed. The elevator and joints that had to be caulked. Now we're waiting for the college area to close on December 19th for winter break, so we can get into the college space and get from below into the garage section. And that'll complete the repairs over there. Previous meeting, I mentioned about adding electric charging stations to garages. So we had a company come in and give us an idea of how much it would cost. This is this program where the state is offering incentives as well as PSE&G, and we also found out that the federal government is offering incentives, basically a 30% rebate if you install electric charging stations for local government entities, even though they don't pay federal tax, they still offer this. So basically, to outfit all our garages with additional charging stations, a total of 26. The cost of the project is $316,000. After all is said and done with all the incentives and rebates, it would come out to $1,410.
How much?
$1,410. That's what it costs out of pocket for the parking authority. So I'd like to pursue that and move ahead with this project. If that's okay with you guys and ladies.
Okay. Are we going into closed session tonight?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And I want to talk about that a little bit in there.
Okay.
One time.
All right. I have two resolutions on the agenda tonight. One pertains to T2 software, and I just want to review this again with the board. This pertains to the New Brunswick Performing Arts Garage. Unlike our other garages, we use license plate recognition at that garage. So your license plate is basically a permit. So monthly parkers, they don't have an access card like you have here. Their license plate gets them into the garage. We also offer hourly parkers the ability to pay at the meters in the garage or pay by phone. What this system does will monitor vehicles that come into the garage, take their license plate, and then if it's determined that the license plate has not paid within 15 minutes of entering the garage, the parking authority enforcement officer will be notified to go summon the vehicle. So we have a system there that is antiquated, that was put in 5-6 years ago now. This system also allows us to validate parking at that facility, which we're unable to do now, which we get requested a lot, especially for special events at the Performing Arts Center. So we're able to, so right now, it's basically, we manually have to validate, so that means we have to put a person at the facility and ask, excuse me, where are you coming, are you coming to see something? Yes. All right, you could go in and then, check off, that's 1 car, 2 car, 3 car. This software will allow us to validate, automatically through the system.
It's good, can you go back to the front end of that process a little
Sure.
bit? So I pull in the garage, I park in the space. My plate is supposedly.
You're not on the
red.
white list, so in other words, you're not a monthly parker.
No, just a
All right.
hourly plus.
So now, on each level, there's two, let's call it, pay-by-pay
Pay-by-foots, yeah.
meters.
Yeah.
All right? And then you could also have the option of using Park Mobile, which is pay by your cell phone. So your license plate is red, and then in the system, the software system, it sees if you entered your license plate into either the meter or via Park Mobile.
Yeah.
And if you have not, within 15 minutes, enforcement is notified, because you paid before at that garage.
So would you give us summons when you're done?
You give them something.
Okay.
So what happens when you, so do you pay in advance, like in that case?
Yes.
So you pay for 2
But
hours,
you
but what
put
if you're
your-
there for 2.5 hours?
Do you put your payment method in advance? You get charged.
You go in and say, I'm gonna be
Conclusion,
there 3 hours. So I put 3 hours of time in, using my license plate. So license plate ABC 123, 3 hours, whatever, that comes out to $6. I paid my $6. Pay by phone. I have my account, you know, my license plate's already in there. You know, I wanna pay
Yeah.
3 hours. I pay through the app.
But what if you're there for 3.5 hours?
Well, that's one of the benefits of using Park Mobile. Park Mobile tells you your time is coming up.
Gives you a reminder.
To remind you, and then you can up it at that point.
Otherwise, you go and fill it up again.
If you don't, you can just pay, is there like a station, like there is
Yeah,
on Church
stations.
Street?
Yeah.
So if you, okay.
Yeah, there's actually a station right at the lobby, at the ground level of the garage.
Okay, and then you have 15 minutes by the time you pay to leave?
No.
Oh,
You have 15 minutes to pay when you first
When
enter
you
the
park,
garage.
okay.
You pay, it's, look at it as a surface lot, or even on the street. You pay for the time when you park. You pay for your time, you pay the meter. You don't pay after you come back, say, oh, I was here 3 hours, let me put my 3 hours time now. You pay when you first park in this garage. You follow?
Got it. Thanks.
So that covers the T2 resolution. And then we have the TIBA Parks resolution. TIBA is a parking access and revenue control system. Currently, we use data park equipment, which I mentioned before, has become obsolete. It's become very difficult to repair, to find parts for. The validation system connected to the data park equipment has become outdated and it works sporadically, so we're having a lot of issues, which causes a lot more manpower to be involved. Accounting has to do a lot more work, et cetera. So we researched various parks manufacturers and equipment, and we determined that TIBA met the requirements of the authority. TIBA is used by many airports and municipalities throughout New Jersey and in the US. Cost-wise, I feel we get the most bang for the buck. And it also has a much more powerful validation system, which we need. We do a lot of validations. With that being said, I'd like to begin the installation of this equipment at the Wellness Garage, which we have validations from the courts, the jurors, and the gym upstairs, which is our own validation. So in order to get that functioning more smoothly, I'd like to move ahead with installing this as Wellness Garage. The goal would be to install or to switch over 2 garages each year. This affects 6 garages currently. Switch over 2 each year until they're all TIBA. That's the plan.
Okay.
All right.
And that's cloud-based?
It's cloud, and I'm not a true believer in total cloud-based. So this price that I have is a kind of a combo. It's both cloud and it has a server. I'm not sold on cloud yet. I don't want to rely on Amazon to handle my equipment.
Yeah, just the ongoing cost.
For
I mean, that's what I
cloud
worry
service.
about with the cloud is that,
Most of them all have cloud, most of them are cloud now.
yeah.
So I'm looking for someone that also has, you know, has
Like about
hardware.
there,
also.
yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Alright.
Next. Anything else?
No, that's it, for my
Okay.
report.
Next. Right?
It's too early for the financial statement, it should be
Yeah,
out next
thank
week.
you. That's what I figured.
Yeah, so. we'll
So
be
you
ready.
forward those stuff?
Yeah, next week,
For November?
yeah.
When do you close?
15th, we wait for all the
Yeah.
bills to come in,
Nothing for me, sir.
Okay. Any public comments?
Yes, please. Good evening, Commissioners Charlie Cradaville, New Brunswick today. Wanted to ask about some of those resolutions, so could I get the amounts for the purchases? the
Sure.
T2 and TIBA?
T2 is $52,595, and the TIBA is $181,874.40.
Okay, and T2 is just for the one deck,
Yes.
and TIBA is for the first two decks?
No.
Or
the
just
one
just
deck.
wellness?
Just wellness.
Oh, wow, okay. And I gotta say, at first blush, I'm not a fan of the, requiring people to pay up front for the parking and then giving them tickets if they don't do it within 15 minutes. How is that gonna be communicated to the public, since this is a pretty
Well, when you
significant
ent-
change?
When you enter, it's not a change, that's the current.
It's how it's
process.
been since the
It's-
garage
It's the
opened.
way it's been, just the current system we have there is not,
Must be a different machine.
it's a different type of system. More robust software, if you will.
But the
So-
authority hasn't been giving summonses
Oh,
inside
yeah.
the deck. You have?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
it's been all right.
Cool.
Yeah, and there's signage when you first enter that you must pay when you enter. Yeah,
Okay.
when you, so it's definitely we definitely have communication to the parkers of what's necessary.
Okay, fair enough. I still don't think I ever fully understood why that deck was done totally differently than all the other decks where you pay afterwards. Was there a,
Because I think in the future, that more closely resembles what these systems will be in the future.
Yeah, a lot of systems, but also I may add at the pack garage, due to the ramp, incline of the ramp, we couldn't put a
It's hard to
ticket
get a key.
spinner and a
Yeah.
swipe because we're afraid it's so steep that if you
I think I
get
recall
off
that.
your brake, you're gonna be rolling into someone or rolling into the gate.
To be on an incline.
This was right, because it was too steep.
Understood, okay. And, yeah, I guess my thought is, you probably have a lot of people going there for the court, and I'm sure your council knows that sometimes you go and sometimes it's an hour or less, sometimes it's more, and you kinda, I guess, if you don't do Park Mobile, you just gotta pay the maximum that you might use. So I think it's not as user-friendly as the other decks, just my 2 cents. I did see resolution for approving interim executive director. Am I correct to assume that that's keeping the same interim executive director?
We'll find out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And may I ask the terms of the agreement, is just continuation of the same thing
Similar,
for
yes.
a full year, or?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I guess I'll follow up to get some information on the salary adjustments afterwards, but I also had a few questions more generally. Nokia Bell Labs, obviously you all heard by now, announced they're gonna relocate to the former Ferrin site. I was curious if there's been any discussion about parking availability. Can you give any insights into the wellness deck and how much capacity that might have to meet their needs?
So there's been some preliminary look at the parking issue downtown in general, that in specific, we're starting additional discussions now.
Okay, and so when you say there's been some, talk, has there been like a consultant hired or any, official work done, or just talks?
I think it's just been, we weren't even sure until a short time ago that this was actually gonna come to fruition. And I think there's been a lot of issues post-pandemic about who's coming back to work, what is our actual supply, issues of that nature. So I think now we'll start to look more critically at what the actual need will be.
Okay,
Because I think also they said building opens in 4 years.
2028.
Yeah.
right. Can anybody give me insight into the wellness deck as it stands now in terms of like, do they have hundreds of spaces that could be relied upon, or?
Yes.
Yes.
So there's hundreds of spaces that they can rely on. If you go in there now, it's pretty full, but that's because the construction workers from
They
the
park
Cancer
every
Institute
day. Yeah.
are parking there, and also the healer. So right now, that's adding like 400 cars in there.
Wow.
Once they get their TCO for the garage, they'll move those construction workers back
Over to that
Cancer
site,
Institute.
yeah.
So then the usage in wellness will drop.
Got it. Thank you very much. Wanted to ask about a meeting schedule for 2024. I don't know if one was approved yet. I would just,
Not yet.
I
The
would-
first meeting is January 24th.
January 24th, I'll try to make it. I would ask that when you do set the schedule for the year, you should have meetings once a month at least. I think that's a best practice and would be, especially as, things are in transition. We still have an interim executive director, a lot of different changes going on. So I think it would be, in the best interest of all involved to have a monthly meeting. And finally, I did want to ask if Mr. Caputo is still on the board, and if he's gonna stay on the board. Of course, you probably heard that he's announced he's retiring as the police director. Does anybody know if he's gonna remain on this board?
No, well, by statute, he's on the board because of his position within the city.
I believe he's appointed by the mayor and council. Right.
Right. But he's appointed as the police official in the city, right? Isn't that the law?
Yeah, and we kind of went back and forth on this. His position on the board was viable because he was the director within the city. So once he retires from that position, he no longer maintains that exception.
I see. So he, retiring December 31st, he would have to leave the board then.
Correct.
Okay, so that's all I had for today. Thank you. Happy holiday, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, while we're on that, I just want to take a minute and talk about, Tony Caputo made a lot of important contributions since his tenure on the board began, I think 13 years, 12 years. And I wanted to just let the minutes reflect, we appreciated all of Tony's work over the years. He was a valuable member of the board in active participation. Okay. Any other board discussion people need to have? If not, we can move on to resolutions. Payment resolution for December. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, next, the 2024 budget.
Yes, this is adopting the 2024 budget. It was approved by the state, now we adopt it, and then the state adopts it.
Right.
That's
Okay.
so it's, we're just looking for approval to adopt.
Okay, so I'll make that motion to adopt. I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 3 is, as Mitch discussed, it's the software upgrade for the Art Center
Right.
garage,
The T2 software.
T2
And
software.
that's through Sourcewell Cooperative. $52,595.33.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in
I have a
favor?
question on that. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead. No, before we
Is that a
start.
one-time payment that we pay for that to buy the software? And
Yeah,
then
that's
what do
one
we do
time,
for-
52,000, and then there's an annual fee after that.
Okay, and then do they provide maintenance if something happens?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sure, that's part of it, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have the resolution for the Tiba Parks system, for the Omnia Cooperative.
Yeah, this is through Omnia Cooperative, again, this is for the wellness garage, $181,874.40.
And it's important to point out that the old software has been
It's obsolete.
sunsetted, right? They
Yeah.
don't support it anymore, so.
So once we buy that software, is that, I know we wanna do 2 garages a year, so do we have to pay $181,000 every time we install it in a garage, or is that
Every
like?
garage is, well, it depends on, the cost depends on the number of gates or lanes that you have. So one garage, like Lower Church Street garage, will be cheaper than Wellness, because we have more lanes, all right? But, so, to answer your question, it'll vary, depending on the number of lanes in each garage.
So this amount is for, just for the wellness?
Just for the
garage?
Wellness, yeah.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
And second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mitch, elevator contract?
Yeah, this is the, to maintain our elevators at the, back up there with me, this is at the Patterson Street deck, the New Street deck, and the Church Street deck. Total of $16,200, this was through a public bid, Jersey Elevator was the sole responsible bidder. Looking for approval.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next.
Next is pursuant to a non-fair and open contract process. This is a resolution for financial services, and that the parking authority engage Bright Consulting, AKA Bright Rajaratnam, for a term of 1 year beginning January 1st through December 31st, 2024, a fee of $5,103 in 2 weeks.
Okay. Can I get a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
I'll second
All
it.
in favor?
Aye.
Next is a pursuant to non-fair and open contract process, resolution for interim executive director. Mitch Karen, doing business as MK Parking Advisor. Got many names. And that would be at a rate of $130 per hour, based on a 24-hour work week, and that runs for the period January 1st through December 31st, 2024.
Okay, thank you. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
The last resolution, I'd like to go into closed session before it is approved, pertaining to salary adjustments.
Great. Okay, can I get a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you. Second, all in favor? You good?
Yep.
All right, I'm usually not this nice. Okay, so we are back in open session. We have one resolution, which is resolution number 8. That's approving the 2024 salary adjustments for non-union employees. We've had an opportunity to look at it. Are there any additional questions? If there's not, can I ask for a motion?
I'll do a motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And now I would like a motion to adjourn.
I'll do the motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Okay.